Hi, I'm Lisa Boucher, presenting some of my PhD work on the experiences of managing chronic health issues among socioeconomically marginalized people who use drugs. So to give a bit of background, marginalized people who use drugs experience complex health and social issues like chronicity and socioeconomic disadvantages, and they have poorer health outcomes and lower life expectancy. So to support people with chronic conditions overall, self-management programs have been shown to improve health behaviors, health outcomes, and quality of life. However, there's been minimal self-management research among people who use drugs specifically. So our research question was, what are the experiences of marginalized people who use drugs with respect to chronic disease self-management and self-management support? So this is a summary of the broad phases in our study. First, we formed a CAC with 5 people with lived experience. Their primary role was to provide guidance on the study methods like eligibility and recruitment, and develop data collection tools, analyze findings, and support knowledge translation. Recognizing the complexity of the topic, we were also careful creating the interview guide to ensure appropriateness for this community. We collected a purposeful sample of participants using the maximum variation strategy, and we used a peer-led street-based recruitment approach and conducted qualitative interviews and a brief questionnaire. And then we used reflexive thematic analysis to identify patterns and threads in the data, and used line-by-line coding and constant comparison. And our analysis occurred collaboratively with the CAC providing cultural interpretation. As for our results, we interviewed diverse participants with an average age of 45 ranging from 27 to 70, approximately half male, 40% female, and a few transgender or non-binary, approximately 2/3 heterosexual and 1/3 gay, bisexual, or pansexual, and 60% identified as white, 26% with some indigenous identity, and a few with other races. Most were born in Canada with first language English, half had education beyond high school, as well as other training, and almost all received either disability or social assistance payments, with 2/3 also receiving support from family or friends, half with part-time or casual jobs, and many receiving some form of street-based income. As shown here, participants described many types of chronic health concerns, including mental health issues, primarily pain-related issues, infectious diseases and their comorbidities, and other physical health issues. Some prominent examples are listed on this slide, but there were many more, and multimorbidity was common. Participants also raised a number of acute and recurrent symptoms and diagnoses that were experienced similarly to chronic health issues. As for their drug use, most participants considered it to be a chronic health issue, albeit somewhat different from their other chronic health issues. So overall, we identified 2 major themes, the first being that participants experienced a complex interplay between their drug use, chronic health issues, and self-management. And each theme had multiple sub-themes, but I only have time to highlight the most important. So the first sub-theme involves self-medicating with non-prescribed drugs, and this was the crux of participants' regimen for managing their chronic health issues. It was often the first practice they mentioned, as demonstrated by this participant's response when asked how they manage their health. Well, it depends on which health issue I'm having that day, I guess. For the arthritis, I will tend to find some purple, fentanyl, and usually when I do the purple, it'll relieve a number of symptoms that I'm having, such as like if I'm having cold sweats or if my muscles, joints are hurting, I will go for the purple. Which then for the crack cocaine or the cocaine or whatever, that helps like my mental issues, like if I'm feeling depressed or I don't want to think at all. In addition, cannabis was reported as the most beneficial drug participants consumed as self-medication. They said it helped with managing symptoms from a breadth of health issues like chronic pain, sleep, emotional, gastrointestinal, and even improved their other self-management behaviors, as one person described. Weed has probably played the biggest role in my life. It was for medication. It just helps me a lot with my mental health and my physical. I will forget to smoke weed because I don't crave it like that. And then I'll say, fucking smoke a dab, idiot. And then I do. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's get a job. And if I have shatter, that's another thing. The shatter makes me a lot better at taking care of myself. If I have shatter, I'm like, dude, you should probably drink some water, that type of thing. It takes me out of the part of my brain that I let the negative voice happen, and then I can focus on taking care of myself. Another sub-theme highlights how participants express detriments to their self-management and health when they did not have adequate access to their drugs. Typically, this pertained to people who use opioids and withdrawal, but it also occurred for those using stimulants. As one person described, "And I wouldn't change my bandages unless if I was dope sick, I'd leave it on forever because it hurts so much." The next sub-theme demonstrates how participants used many harm reduction strategies, but given the overdose crisis, many strategies were geared to reducing their risk of death. Accordingly, some participants described their desire for a safe supply of drugs, but they also noted that this would improve their ability to practice self-care, as this person responded to the question of what supports would help them most. It would be something like safe supply. Now that I see some of my friends on it, I'm like jealous because they have more time to figure out their problems and they have more time to themselves because they're not sitting there chasing the drug all the time or chasing after money, which does take a lot and it's exhausting. Like, you get sick of it. Like when I'm dealing with pain, Plus, I'm someone I have a hard time dealing with emotions. Criminal activities, well, I just wouldn't think of them because, I already have. The second theme highlights that participants employed many personalized strategies to self-manage their chronic health issues. The first sub-theme here denotes how participants engaged in basic self-management behaviors relating to nutrition, physical activity, sleep, and hygiene. However, many participants struggled to focus on these behaviors, although some noted they got plenty of exercise as a result of trying to meet their daily needs. Because you got to think about if you're looking for something, you're stuck downtown, you're walking and you're walking, you walk a lot. I walk like all over the place. The next sub-theme showed how some participants said it was important to seek out and be aware of how to obtain supports. I know where to go and how to get supports if I need them. Just pick up a phone or just walk into a place and say, hey, I could use some of this or that. And another sub-theme describes how some participants highlighted the importance of adhering to healthcare directions, including for multiple health issues. I mean, you can remember taking your medication every day and that, but now I'm on medication in the daytime, I'm on medication at nighttime, medication at supper time. So I gotta be on a regular base with my medication. Participants also employed many cognitive and behavioral strategies to manage their health issues, including techniques for relaxation, distractions, prayer or spirituality, being in nature, developing a routine, and so on. As one participant described, "So if I feel like I'm getting too stressed out, I imagine with every breath in I take, I am breathing in, taking all the toxins and all the stress I have. When I'm breathing it in, I imagine that I'm storing them in my inside when I breathe in, hold it in for 8 counts, and then I exhale all that garbage out as hard and as loud as I can. It works." Many participants also highlighted the importance of having creative outlets to cope with the negative emotional effects of their health issues, especially arts-based activities. And finally, one participant described eloquently the overall positive impact of improving their self-care. "Now I have a little skincare routine. I make sure I get enough sleep. I'm choosing, more wisely what I eat. I'm more thoughtful and mindful about, what I want to do to not only protect my health and improve it, but to prevent stuff. And the more that I'm developing self-care habits, the proof is in the pudding, because the difference can be felt and it's amazing to me." So in conclusion, marginalized people who use drugs used many strategies to manage their chronic health issues and drug use, with the types of strategies highlighting the importance of agency in self-management. To meet people where they are within the context of the overdose crisis, we recommend providing a safe supply of pharmaceutical-grade drugs to improve self-management. And existing chronic disease self-management programs are unlikely to fully address the most prominent needs of marginalized people who use drugs. Thus, these supports should be tailored for this population, which could be done with some peer leadership. And I just wish to acknowledge my institutions, our funders, and our collaborating community organizations. And please feel free to email me for more information. Thank you.